That right there is a 2-inch receiver hitch from the Brookstone. This used to be welded on. I had it cut off. There's a sticker on here that says, not for towing, maximum capacity 300 pounds, exceeding load limits will void all warranties and may lead to collapse and possible personal injury. And in the end, it is the user's responsibility to secure the load in a safe and secure manner. Now, this has nothing to do with towing because this specific receiver hitch is not actually designed for towing. Let's take a look at the back of the fifth wheel and talk about some things that were definitely raised in the last video. Okay, so this video is a follow-up video to a video that I posted not too long ago where I walked down the side of our Coachman Brookstone fifth wheel. I pointed to the accessory rack here on the back, which is the LCI accessory rack, talked about how this thing is rated to 300 pounds worth of capacity, and then I started going off on why I don't recommend using an RV to double tow. Basically, using an RV like this to tow a trailer behind it. So, got a lot of comments from that video. So many comments that I felt I needed to definitely do a follow-up video to clarify some things, but I'm not going to be correcting anything. I'm just going to be clarifying. Hang tight, I'll be right back. All right, so double towing, right? That is the act of towing a trailer behind a trailer. So basically having a trailer back here, towing it behind a trailer like this. And there are quite a few fifth wheels on the market from various manufacturers that give you a 4-way connector on the back so you can hook up your brake lights, turn signals, and all that jazz. And they also have a sticker on the back of the receiver that will almost always say 300 pounds hitch weight capacity, 3,000 pounds tow weight capacity. And, you know, the last video I made, I really dove into why I don't suggest it being a good idea to double tow. Mainly because of the stress it puts on your sidewall and your frame. And I don't think too many people disagree. I think a lot of people who do it and are passionate about it posted comments basically saying that, you know what, it's not illegal, which I never said it was illegal. It is safe, and it may be safe for you. Your RV may be shorter, it may not have as much flex, it may just be built better, but they say there's no harm in doing it. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about that. Okay, so first and foremost, safe for you may not be the same definition as safe for someone else. Safe towing for you may not even be the same definition as safe towing for someone else. If you've been doing it for a long time, if you have your rig set up properly and you feel confident in towing something the way you tow it, well, more power to you. You know, the fact is that when I make videos and I walk around, especially when I'm reviewing RVs, and I stop at the back receiver and I point out whether or not it's designed for towing or whether or not it's designed for an accessory rack like ours, I make it very clear that I don't suggest towing behind your RV. And the last video pointed out all the reasons why, all of the leverage, the accessories, that lever arm, all of the stuff that dynamically moves and shifts here that could cause sidewall damage to your RV. So I think one of the biggest comments that folks, you know, left regarding this was, well, if I have a 300-pound capacity rack back here, what's the difference? Well, first of all, let's talk about it from an energy perspective. Static weight, non-moving weight, basically this folding down and being locked into position is different than dynamic weight. Dynamic weight can cause a significant increase in downward and upward force whenever you're moving. Dynamic weight is that bouncing, springing effect of something that is tethered to or connected to the back, but not as static. Basically, it's not secured in a manner in which it won't move. Whenever you have a trailer hitched up behind an RV, behind a truck, behind anything, it would be viewed as dynamic weight, and that motion leads to increased force. So, now that we've gotten that out of the way, I would never load up my back rack to beyond 120 pounds. Probably not even that. The weight that I would put on this rack would pretty much be that of a carbon fiber mountain bike and maybe a carbon fiber e-bike, or perhaps a couple electric bikes, maybe a cooler, nothing more than that. When I said that this is designed to carry up to 300 pounds, the rack itself has a weight capacity of 300 pounds. That's what it comes down to, not the actual amount I'm going to load on it. Just like if you take a truck or a vehicle, just because it has a capacity doesn't mean you're going to try to meet that capacity, exceed it. In many cases, you're just going to stay under it. And for a rack like this, it's more of a convenience feature for me to be able to have extra space for things on the back that don't weigh that much. In the video, a lot of people probably thought, well, if he said 300 pounds capacity, he must be like putting everything on a scale and just stacking up 300 pounds worth of weight on that thing when he takes the RV out. Most of the time, that rack is empty. We usually don't take our bikes with us. We usually don't take things that go on that rack. The things that we take with us often go inside of the RV, and very rarely have I used that. Actually, the last couple times we used it was to dry towels. So take that for what it's worth. We don't load that thing up. When we do, we hardly load it up. Maybe 100, maybe 120 pounds max if we're taking e-bikes with us. Now, some folks left some comments which were just flat out interesting. They said, well, if semi-tractors do it, why can't RVers do it? Or I must not know that semi-truck drivers double tow. Well, first of all, sometimes you need a special license for it. Some states don't even allow it. Most companies, even if they allow it, won't let you back up a rig that's being double towed. And the single biggest difference is semi-tractor trailers have their tires positioned much further back. They can slide them and move them. And when they're double towing, they're using a dolly, which is another axle, usually right about here, that the trailer you're pulling rests its tongue weight on. So entirely different than RV double towing. So please, no more comparisons comparing RV double towing to a semi-tractor trailer double towing, because two completely different designs, as well as engineering, as well as how you do it. Now on to the expectations portion of this. So if you have an RV and the manufacturer claims that that RV can double tow, basically it has a receiver on the back and it's got wiring, lights and turn signals, I'm not saying that you can't do it, because it's not my place to even say that you can't do it. I don't even believe in that. I'm not saying that it's against the law. You have to check your own laws. You have to check your own driver's license restrictions. You have to check your own statutes in your own states to make that determination. I also can't make that determination for you. I'm not even saying that the RV hasn't gone through some additional stress testing to ensure that the type of frame that it has is able to support it. But what I say is I just don't suggest or recommend it, because as awesomely well as RVs are built, and I think most people would agree that RVs are not built that awesomely well, do you really want to take the risk that your brand new RV is going to suffer some type of wall damage, structural damage, because you were towing? If you do tow, I don't recommend towing at that maximum limit. I make all these recommendations because I honestly, from the heart, want you guys to have the best possible towing experience. You guys may think I am super conservative when it comes to towing numbers, and I very well may be. But the fact of the matter is, I just want you guys to enjoy your RVing experience. And if you're on the fence about towing with your RV because you see that hitch there, you see that you have a connector, and then your next bet is to go off and buy a boat, your next thing is to go off and buy a trailer so you can carry even more stuff behind you. It's very unlikely that you will develop skills very quickly that allows you to back up both of them, so you're probably going to have to unhitch the second trailer if you need to move it around, which a lot of people do. A lot of people double tow, so don't let me confuse you into thinking that it's not something that's common. A lot of people do it. A lot of people have no problems. A lot of people have older rigs and do it, and they may not have any problems. But one thing you generally will notice, not all the time, not universally, I'm not pointing everybody out, you'll generally notice they'll have a shorter fifth wheel with a very light trailer. Typically it's going to be a small boat. Typically it's going to be something that is not going to put that much of a load on the back. And you typically see that because that limits their overall length, so the state that they live in, you know, they don't have to worry about possibly being too long. But at the same time, it also limits some of the stress that may be applied to the RV. Your RV may be different. The way you set up your RV may be different. The manufacturer who built your RV may even tell you that theirs is 100% ready to go. You should do it because they build RVs better than anybody else. Do your own research. I just don't want you to get caught in a situation where you're stuck on the side of the road noticing cracks to the body of your RV simply because you put too much weight on the back when you were towing. Guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up. We'll talk to you again very soon.